welcome to Lilybug's Library. My name's Linda, and today we're going to wrap up 2024 books that I read, and probably one or two that kind of pushed into 2025, and we'll get those out of the way. So I hope everybody had a terrific New Year's Eve, and everybody's recovered now and settled into the new year. So the first one that I had read was by Stacey Agdern, and it was called Miracles and Menorahs. So I like to include not just Christmas books, but Hanukkah and things as well. So this one was about Sarah Goldman, and she lives in this town called Hollowville, and they do a Hanukkah festival. And it's, I believe it's a couple of days long, maybe a little more. And, every year it gets a little bigger. It started out just as a small thing with, a few people in town, and then it got bigger and bigger. And people come whether or not they celebrate Hanukkah because they want to learn about it and taste the food. And, it's very popular. So she is looking after it this year. She's not the chair, but she's like a major part of it. Well, the only problem is somebody new moved to town. He became kind of on the council, and he's really pushing for everything for them to get rid of Hanukkah festival and everything to be Christmas related. So it's causing a little tension. And so then she meets this man whose grandmother lives in the town, and he's a sculptor. And she wants him to create a menorah, a big menorah for the festival. But he believes that that's very commercial, and he doesn't like that, and he doesn't think much of the idea. So as they get to know each other, things develop from there. So it's a very sweet book. It really addresses the meaning of the holidays, all of them, and the fact that really they're, the meaning of them is lost sometimes in the commercialism. And so you kind of get his point when it comes to making this big menorah, even though he's not quite getting the whole picture. And they also have the people in the town kind of pulling together and doing things. And then I love the thought of a town having a Hanukkah festival. I mean, I'm not, I don't celebrate Hanukkah, but at the same time, I would love to go someplace and, taste the food and see, all the different traditions. And I just think it would be terrific. So I don't know if there is a small town out there that has a Hanukkah festival. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about it. And so the characters were a perfect mix of everything about people, I mean, they were sweet, some were nasty, some were old, some were young. You kind of get a real mix of people in the town, and so that makes it even nicer when they all start to come together. So I would give that one a 5 out of 5. So the next one I read was Agatha Raisin and the Vicious Vet. So this one was, um, it was okay. I didn't love it as much as I'd hoped to. I mean, I do like Agatha Raisin well enough, but she just seems very old to me. And this one had a lot of stuff in it about romance, and I just really couldn't get behind it. I just was not interested. And it's not that I don't think being older you can't have romance in your life, but it's just she seemed really desperate, and she's really kind of going after her neighbor, and he's running the other way every time she gives him some smoldering look, and it's just kind of cringy, as the kids would say. The mystery was good though, so I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. So the next one I read was Whiskers and Warrants, and this one was book 3 of the Norwegian Forest Cat Mysteries, and I really like this one. It's all about them, Lauren and Zoe, her cousin, going to latte art classes with someone who's supposed to be, I don't know if he's famous, but like a really accomplished barista. And so they go to this place and they practice their latte art. And he's very obnoxious, like he's very full of himself, and he's really critical. And they come out of there thinking, we learned some things, but we didn't really have a great time. Um, so of course, when he ends up dead, it's up to them to find out who it was that killed him, and whether it had to do with his obnoxious nature or whether it was something else entirely. So that one was good in different ways. Like, I've for some reason, developed an interest in latte art and the different aspects of being a barista. So I really um, I felt it really fit all of that, and it really helped me to learn some more things. And I really love revisiting the characters, Lauren and Zoe, and of course the cat Annie, and their cafe. And I didn't feel the only thing I was missing is because so much of it kind of took place outside of the cafe. I didn't really feel like we were getting some of the neighbors and things that we did in the other books. So there's an older lady, can't remember her name, but she crochets and knits with them, and she's one of their neighbors, and she's really adorable. And I really like when they have her in the story more. And there's a few other people that I've kind of got used to seeing around in the other books. So I did kind of miss that part, but otherwise it was really good. So I'd give that a 4 out of 5. And just give me 1 second here while I try this tea. Hopefully not burn my mouth. Well, that's interesting. I picked up some burdock tea, which apparently is supposed to be good for everything. And so I figured I'd give it a try. I might have to add a little something something to it. Um, Maybe mix it with peppermint tea or something, because it doesn't have much of a taste to it. It's just kind of very I hate to say it's like drinking grass. That's not, doesn't sound very appealing. I'm sure it's better than that. But yeah, just not really much flavor to it. So the next one that I read, I actually thought it was a different book. I listened to it on Audible, and when I first kind of clicked on it and downloaded it, I thought I knew what it was. It wasn't. It's called Buried in the Stacks, and it's by Alison Brooke. And I wasn't paying close enough attention because I have read other books by her, because this is the second in the Haunted Library Mysteries. I thought it was one of the, I think it's just called the Cat in the Stack Mysteries, maybe. And I think that's what threw me. Buried in the Stacks, Cat in the Stacks. I don't know, but anyway, but I like this one too. So with this one, Carrie Singleton is a librarian in this town, and there is a ghost, Evelyn, who is part of the library. And Carrie's the only one that can see her, except for one little girl apparently is able to see her, but nobody else is. And so in this one of their patrons ends up in the hospital, and she tells Carrie that her husband tried to kill her. And then later on, when Carrie goes to visit her after she's out of the hospital and Carrie mentions it, she's like, oh, no, no, that, I don't remember saying that. That must have been the drugs talking or whatever. So eventually, things kind of go from bad to worse, and Carrie ends up having to investigate to see what's going on. And when she does, it turns out that the woman is actually, ooh, Dudley. The woman is, come on, Dudley. The woman is actually the ghost's niece, I think. And so it was, so they have to kind of check into that, and the ghost is trying to help Carrie. And I did find it was good. Let me see, what else did I write about it here? So I did enjoy getting to revisit Carrie and her cat, Smokey Joe, although we don't hear that much about Smokey Joe. And the resident ghost, Evelyn, is usually kind of funny. Like she wants to help, but she doesn't really want anything that's gonna shed a bad light on her family, which I guess I get. But it makes it difficult sometimes. So the mystery was intriguing, and I did feel like I got to learn more about her, Carrie's boss, Sally, which we didn't really learn much about her in the first book, more just the fact that she was kind of cranky, and she didn't really seem to want Carrie to be one of the parts of the library. Can't remember Carrie's exact job, whether I don't think she's head librarian, but something close to that anyway. But this Carrie didn't really want her there, or Sally rather, didn't want her there. So that part was kind of nice to get to see a different side of her. So that was good. So that one, let me see, what would I give that one? I would say I'd give that one a 4 out of 5 as well. And so that was it for what I have finished reading. I did, maybe I didn't write it down yet. Oh, nope, there it is. I knew there was one more. I was a little confused there for a minute. There is one last one, which was No Good Tea Goes Unpunished, and that's by Bree Baker. And in this one, Everly, who owns Sun, Sand, and Tea Seaside Cafe, she is hosting a wedding for someone that she knew in school. And she's really gone all out. It's a beach wedding, and she's got all kinds of food, and she's used I think I don't think it's an inn, maybe. I'm trying to think whether she has an inn or whether it's just her house, but she's decorated one of the rooms anyway as a bridal suite, and she's done everything for this. So when her friend shows up and starts to get married, she starts to find out a few different things, like the fact that they've only known each other 6 months. And then as they're getting married, other things happen, and all of a sudden it turns out that the bridegroom is missing. So it was really good. I really enjoyed this one, and I've been looking forward to doing another of I think are they called the iced tea mysteries? Uh, Stop, crazy cat. No, they're called the Seaside Cafe mysteries. But I do like that she makes all of these iced teas. So anyway, I did enjoy it, and I did think that Brie Baker. I don't know why I stumble over that woman's name every time, but I did think that she has such a good way with words, and really brings you into like her fictional world. And I actually wrote down a quote that I thought was really pretty, just to kind of illustrate that point. So it says, "Nowhere on earth raveled charm for its perfect night sky. No smog or high rises to block the magical view, just the endless inky darkness and the beautiful view of twinkling white stars above." And I just thought that's like a really good example of the way that she can just turn a phrase and kind of make it so you really feel like you're there on that beach and looking up at that dark sky. And yeah, I thought it was great. And so I did listen to it on Audible, and the narrator was perfect as well. She did a really good job. And I sometimes you have a narrator, and I don't know if they try too hard to do voices or whether what it is exactly, but it takes you out of it instead of helping. And I didn't feel that with this narrator at all. She was really good. And even when she's doing like the male parts and things, I didn't even kind of notice. So it was great. And this one, Everly is in her head quite a bit in this book. But I was okay with that. It kind of helped me understand the character more and kind of set the stage up for more of a romance with the detective, which is Detective Hayes. And so I know some people might not like that. They like more action and things, but I thought it was good. So that one I would give 5 out of 5. Okay, so that's the last one I read. And we're working on one. Wonderful Husband and I are reading one called 1 Second After, and it's by William Forstchen. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's a dystopian book about what happens 1 second after there is an EMP. So that's a electromagnetic pulse, and it basically shuts down all the electronics everywhere. And I've always thought about those sort of things, and thought, like, because I talk about sunspots being able to do that and different things if it was like a really big sunspot. But with this, it's purposeful. So some country has detonated a nuclear explosion up in the atmosphere, far enough up that they're not getting fallout, at least not yet, but it did shut off all the electronics, which you don't think's a big deal until, or you don't understand how big a deal it is until it actually happens. So anyway, more about that after we're finished it, but so far we're enjoying it. And I just started Grounds for Murder by Tara Lush, and it's the second in her series. And so I'm excited to start, reading more of that. So that is what is going on. Oh, and I'm reading too many things. I told myself I wasn't going to do that this year. But I am also reading 100 Years of Solitude, which is my classic book that I was going to do for this month. I'd love to tell you I'm loving that one, but not so much. Hey, don't bite me. Don't bite me. But it's different. So we'll talk more about that later. So I hope everybody has a great weekend, and I will see you again probably on Monday. All right, bye bye.